confused.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Something Super Podcast. I'm Steve.
I'm Mark.
And I'm John.
And guys, this week we're going to be covering all of 2021. So let me first start by saying Happy New Year to everyone. Happy 2022. Got a lot of stuff coming up this year, but while we're still thinking about it, let's touch base on a lot of the things that happened last year that are shaping both the Marvel and the DC universes, among various other things like Star Wars and stuff of that nature. So, as always, check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Something Super Podcast, on Twitter at SS Podcast 52, and on all of your major streaming platforms. So, Mark, let's touch base on a few of your favorite things from 2021.
So, obviously, for me, number one, I know everybody's going to grill me for this one, but number one for me definitely was Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like, we've been wanting it for years and years. And it started off as just a hope, a little glimmer. And then it was like a rumor that there wasn't even one. And then, finally WB was smart and they were like, oh, we're actually going to release it. And they showed how shitty Joss Whedon's take on a DC movie actually was. So for me, that was my top thing. We got a damn good Steppenwolf. They introduced Darkseid, and we'll see what happens with the Flash movie that's coming out that's supposed to rewrite a bunch of stuff. But for me, that was my top tier. That was my number one. Close number two was Far From Home. Like, we just talked about it not that long ago. Check out our episode about it. We dive really deep into it. But as far as a Marvel movie, for me, that was probably one of the most fun movies that Marvel's put out in a while. Like, the shows they hit different just because you have extended run times with, it's easier to fit a story in a 6 1-hour episodes opposed to like a 2-hour movie. But I don't know. For me, even Shang-Chi was like it wasn't a top tier Marvel movie, but it was still fun.
Absolutely. So, when it comes to Marvel movies, everyone thinks like the Iron Man, the Spider-Man, stuff like, the hero stories where they're out like fighting, the bad guys in New York City or whatever major city they're in. What I liked about Shang-Chi is it was a little bit different in the regards that, like, this dude didn't want that life. He avoided that life like the plague and ended up showing himself with redeeming qualities at the end. And that's why his father ended up giving up the rings. So, it's obviously like completely different than anything we've dealt with before because we got a real look at what the actual 10 rings are versus what the MCU has posed them to be for the past, 13 years.
Right. And I'm actually excited to see where they take that because even Wong's like, it's older than anything that we've ever seen. So, like, there's still a lot of mystery behind those. And it's just another thing to add to it. Like, you got Mjolnir, you got, Stormbreaker, Cap Shield, and that Iron Man suit. Now you got like the 10 rings. So it's like,
I'm also curious as to how they play it forward because obviously his father had lived for, hundreds and thousands of years. Like, this man was a conqueror of nations and never aged. But now that his son has them, like, how are they going to play that into it? And B, his best friend is following him along this journey, is going to age faster than him.
right.
So I want to see that sort of dynamic play into it. What about you, John? Give me a couple things from 2021 that were top tier for you.
I think top tier for me was the Suicide Squad movie that came out. I think that they did a really good job with that. Birds of Prey was a big flop in my opinion. I thought it was good, but I thought it wasn't on tier with the Suicide Squad. I thought that movie brought in a good comical aspect for DC, but also a good serious role on competitiveness for a true series to compete with Marvel. That and the Venom was also pretty good, but not to get ahead of myself. But with the Suicide Squad, I just think that they did a really marvelous job with that movie, with how they told the storyline and just the ending of that huge fight scene with what was that starfish name,
Star.
Starro.
Starro. One of the big, I'm pretty sure he's one of the big protagonists in DC, and he just he was, I thought it was pretty good.
So he was actually, fun fact, one of the first ever bad guys that the Justice League faced off against in the comics. Yeah, I mean, those were, definitely some of the top movies that I've seen. I know we've already touched base on it, but I want to touch, one from each genre. It's going to be Zack Snyder's Justice League, just because DC hasn't made a lot of good live action stuff recently. And I thought that the rewrite, or I guess like the original version of it, was phenomenal. And I mean, we could say No Way Home all day. That's a fantastic movie. But I'm probably gonna have to go with Legend of the Ten Rings, because it was different. I really wish Eternals hit the mark, but that is my big 2021 flop. And I don't think either one of you guys have seen it yet, just strictly based on the fact that I told you don't spend your money. But yeah, like
much.
It's not that it's a bad cinematic movie, it's just a bad Marvel movie. And maybe they're going to tie it in later. Maybe that's going to be better. I just felt like it was forced. But yeah, I feel like also based on just phase 4 alone, not any phase prior to that, but in 2021, we got a lot of DC references in the Marvel universe.
Oh, absolutely. They mentioned like Superman a couple times.
Yeah, Flashpoint.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't directly reference what Flashpoint is, but they say Flashpoint.
And they pretty much perform Flashpoint like they rewrote the MCU with the Spider-Man movie. Like nobody remembers who Spider-Man is now. Like,
yes. Oh, also things that 2021 has shown me, and we all know where this is going. Mephisto.
Can I out hope? Holding out hope.
Hold on. Can I
2022 will be his year.
Yeah, it better be. But I was watching like deep dive stuff into Marvel's, phase 1 through 4 so far. And there is an actual like literal reference to Mephisto in there, when I think it is Fury is looking through one of the files on like who is the most, or it might have been the Hydra files, when they were looking through like who is the biggest threats to the universe. Mephisto's name is literally listed as one of them. So I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, they list like everybody. It's called an Easter egg.
I know, but I'm just saying Mephisto's name is on there. Doctor Strange is on there prior to becoming the Sorcerer Supreme. Like there's a lot of stuff going on there, but I just like Mephisto's on there. Just throwing it out there. He's here. He's in waiting.
Honestly, you have a better chance of seeing Nightmare than you do Mephisto at this point.
Yeah.
That is fair, and I'm okay with that. But
Mephisto, I feel like Mephisto's going to be like phase 5, maybe even phase 6. Who knows if they even get that far?
Oh, they will. They have content forever, because that's the big thing that we're going to break into now. Now we've hit like 2021. Actually, you know what? Before we jump forward with anything and we go into this current year, hit me with a TV show or a series or Marvel, DC, whether it's animated, live action. Give me your favorite thing for this year, John.
Loki was great. I thought that was a great intertwine for TV coming into this series. It definitely explained the whole going back in time when they're first fighting in New York, and he gets captured. Then he takes the stone, and poof, everybody's like, "Whoa, where'd he go?" Well, now we know what happened. I think that was a great series.
I agree. If I had to pick one, and a one alone, and it's not going to be the one that you chose, just because that's the rule I'm making for myself, I want to say Hawkeye. So what I noticed with phase 4 is it's all buddy cop stuff. Mm-hmm. Regardless of how you break it down, from WandaVision to Hawkeye, from the beginning of the year to the end, there is always a group of 2 working together in each series. And I thought that was an interesting take. But I loved Hawkeye strictly because it wasn't a superpowered show. It wasn't a person with magic or godlike abilities or something crazy and made of vibranium. Like, this is a guy who's just a dude getting his ass kicked regularly. And it should, like, I mean, not saying that like anyone can just pick up a bow and arrow and become a superhero, but like he kind of did, because they don't give him the powers that he has in the comics. He doesn't have that like thing in his brain where he just literally can't miss anything. Like, he's just that good with a bow. And now we have Kate Bishop, who is also equally as good with a bow, and she just like, they show you her training montage. So like, that's kind of cool.
Do we have to pick just one? Because I have two.
No, go ahead. Give me a couple, whatever you want.
I mean, I'm gonna take your rule from one. I'm not gonna pick one that you guys did, and two, I'm gonna pick one from each title. So for DC, probably one of my favorite comic book storylines finally got animated. That's The Long Halloween. Parts 1 and 2 came out. When I heard about that, I was super excited. I thought Jensen Ackles absolutely killed it as Batman. So he's now voiced Red Hood and Batman. So he's working his way through the family. But no, just in general, I mean, the animation style, the storyline, like I thought it was done really well. But DC always kills it when it comes to their animations, which is a good segue to the other brand, which is Marvel, which is usually not so great with their animations. It's like you get like one hit per like generation. I mean, there was like the Spider-Man animated series. You had like the original X-Men. That's about it.
Yeah, no, that's really all they got.
Like,
when you think about like our childhood, you think Batman the animated series or Superman or the Justice League or like, so I can't think of a time in my life. And again, I didn't know X-Men was like under the, I thought they were all under the same thing when I was a child. So like,
right.
Think about it. That's it. X-Men, Spider-Man.
But I mean, Marvel, I think they killed it with What If.
Absolutely.
Like, number one, the fact that they got such a large like portion of the original cast to come back and do the voices for those characters is big. It opens up so many gateways now, because like you see in the new Doctor Strange movie coming out, like we're getting like references to it. We're getting those characters now in live action. You got Strange Supreme coming up. So it's like, and apparently there's supposed to be a third one, which is Defender Strange. So I don't know if that's supposed to be like the Defenders or if that's just like the Revengers.
I'll tell you what, though. Speaking of the Defenders, I am super glad that they brought in characters from the Netflix series into Phase 4.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be movies or other shows. Like, when you think of, Hawkeye, like that, I don't think it falls under the same category as like the Netflix shows, like the Defenders, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Daredevil, Iron Fist, that whole nine. I don't think it falls under the same sort of heading. A Netflix series is a Netflix series is a Netflix series. They're usually a little darker and grittier. But when you bring in Vincent D'Onofrio in as your Kingpin, that opens up an entire door, which makes those things canon.
Which is and it's legitimatizing them.
Yeah, and you and I had just talked just before this. We both restarted Daredevil. Like,
yeah,
it is such a good series, and rewatching it now with the knowledge that there is so much more coming after that. Like, we watched it originally, like, oh my god, like, this is exciting, it's fun, it's cool, it's different. And now watching it with the knowledge that like there is more, and we have Charlie Cox in a Spider-Man movie.
See, like, it's one thing when you're sitting there watching like Daredevil now, like rewatching it. And the first time you watch it, like when you first meet Ben, like on the back wall, he has like headlines and one says like Battle of New York, which is clearly referencing like the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
And then we finally get Charlie Cox as, like Daredevil in the MCU. It's just like such a great payoff. Like, I was so happy that they did it right at the beginning of the film.
Yes.
Like, literally, it's like 10 minutes into the film, you're meeting Daredevil. And I'm just like, it was such, I don't know. That was to me like one of the highlights.
Oh, absolutely. And, now that
I'll never knock Kingpin. I mean,
no, I'll tell you what, he's bad in Daredevil. He's a bad dude.
And he's worse. I think he's worse than Hawkeye.
Yeah, he's
like they amped his strength and everything.
Oh, absolutely. He's, I mean, Christ, he's almost a superhuman in Daredevil. But again, they also showed that he is human. Like he's not one of those guys that's super soldier serumed up. He's not juiced up in any sort of way. He's
Just a big guy.
dude. Yeah, he's just strong as shit. So I give him props for that. And like, yes, he, spoiler alert, end of Hawkeye, he does get shot, but that is canon to the comics,
Yeah.
which I think is
And
interesting.
it's already confirmed that he's coming back as the villain in Echo. So unless Echo takes place prior to Hawkeye.
It very well could. Marvel's been known to do that.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, man, it is an interesting sealing of his fate that in the comics he gets shot in both of his eyes and he essentially becomes blind. And the first person that he was hunting was the blind man.
Mm-hmm.
The blind man.
The masked man, the man in black. Various
terrible,
other things that they called the Daredevil prior to him.
That terrible ass mask.
You know what though? I give him props for it because it covers enough of his face that nobody's able to tell who he is. But he doesn't need to see, so I cut eye holes. A worse mask is the one in Defenders that's just like a weird gray color.
Well, I'm talking about the original one. It was literally he just tied a bandana around his eyes,
Just
like
black.
like literally. I'm sitting there, and I love how like at the beginning he's like, "Did you see my face?" And everybody's like, "Dude, you take your mask off every 5 seconds." Like, yes, we see your face. Like, you show everybody.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, he plays a great blind person.
Oh, 100%.
Like he is phenomenal.
I think I saw something recently that he actually wore contacts that actually while on set prevented him from seeing that well on set to actually perform the way he did, that he was recognized by the
Like the American Disabilities Association.
yes. Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty amazing. His commitment to that character is pristine, and that's what you need in a Marvel or even superhero in today's day and age, superhero position. You need somebody that's going to be that committed to that character.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what you call it? Jeremy Renner and what's her name that plays Kate Bishop?
Oh, Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah, they both learned like, I mean, I was probably minimum, but like they both started learning sign language so that they could talk to the actress that plays Echo, because she's actually deaf in real life. So like they wanted to make sure that like on set they could communicate while doing the stunts and everything. So they actually started learning sign language.
Like that again, props to them. Good for that. I can appreciate that kind of stuff because that just shows A, you're a good person, and B, you care about your craft. And that's why I think we got such a good show out of them.
No, I mean, honestly, really, I can't knock any of the shows. I can knock episodes individually, but overall, I mean, I think maybe Falcon and Winter Soldier was probably, to me, like, mind you, I'm not saying this as in like it was the worst show, but to me, it was just so cut up because of like all the editing they had to do because of COVID and everything. I feel like that really threw off the flow of the show.
Yeah.
And I felt like that's where we felt it the most out of all of them.
That was one of Disney Plus's or Marvel's like first Disney Plus series, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
First was WandaVision.
WandaVision, yeah.
WandaVision, then Falcon and Winter Soldier,
Loki.
then Loki. Was it Loki? Was it Loki or What If?
No, Loki, then What If?
Yeah.
Loki, then What If?
Hawkeye.
And then Hawkeye. I think there were the 5 that we got.
I think Loki's when I just think Loki's where they started getting it right. I'll agree with you. I mean, I wasn't a big WandaVision fan of that series. I thought it was way too slow for what both those characters deserve. But I can go on about that. But I think Loki was where they started getting it right. So I think Winter Soldier, Falcon, I could see where that one. I thought that was better than WandaVision, to be honest with you, but that's just my take. I know everybody else thinks WandaVision was really good. In the end, yes. I just thought it was a little slow for my taste.
See, I can appreciate how slow it was though for what it was. Now, like if it came out like now and it was going that slow, now that we just had like everything happen in Far From Home, everything happened in Shang-Chi, like you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it kind of was like that was the starting point. So we started off slow and then it just slowly built to where literally it's just a boulder rolling down a hill and we're trying to get out in front of it.
Yeah. So I think a big thing for me is like you said, it based on the timeline of like when it came out, it being the first show and it was only like really the first 2 to 3 episodes where it was kind of slow. That was your initial jump off. That was your, we're going to take it from a walk and then eventually full boat into a run. Like that's where we're at now. We are sprinting at this point with all the shows that are out. But speaking of shows that are out and things that are coming, now that it's 2022, let's touch base on a few things, both Marvel, DC, hell, even Star Wars. I know this is technically 2021, but this is going to be our turning and talking point. Book of Boba Fett.
Dude, I have to catch this week's episode, but episode 1, I mean, whew,
Phenomenal.
they came out of the gates swinging.
Huge.
So much that's coming out. I still have to catch up on it.
Yeah, it's one of those shows that I'm definitely looking forward to watching. We got a Jon Favreau flick again. I am more than happy to watch anything that man makes. I have not seen a bad movie from him yet, or TV series, I guess at this point. But he controls the Mandalorian universe, so here we are. Just it feels like the Mandalorian, like it's just a continuation, more of a backstory than anything else.
Right, like you're just following a different bounty hunter, and I mean. Yep. There's so many ways that they could play. Like they could bring in a live action Omega because she's technically his clone sister.
Yep. I mean, yeah, they could do so much with it. I would actually be curious to see how that, if they were to do something along those lines. But Fennec, again, phenomenal, coming in kicking ass right out of the gate.
Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, and we got her show coming out. I forget when. I forget if that's this year or next year.
We will get down.
But let me tell you what, though. I mean, last year was all Marvel. This year is looking like it's gonna be all DC, man. Like I know you have like the Black Panther and you have like the next Thor movie, but I mean, you're gonna have you have the new Batman movie. Then you have the Flash, which is gonna have Keaton and Batfleck. You got Black Adam, which I think I might be most hyped for Black Adam, honestly.
Oh, they have,
between that and possibly Morbius, like
Blue Beetle.
Oh yeah.
Well, they just changed that to I forget which way it went. It was supposed to be a show, but now I think it's gonna be a movie.
Okay.
Or it was going to be a movie, but now it's going to be a series. I forget which way. But yeah, they just changed.
I mean,
but
it's
no,
the kid from Cobra Kai. I look forward to it because he's a great actor.
Yeah, I mean, I personally love the character of Blue Beetle. Like if you guys watch like Young Justice, like he's one of like he's one of like the best characters. Javier, I think his name is.
Yeah, Javier.
Yeah. Like he's hands down in the DC universe. Like number one, he's OP as shit. People don't realize it, but like he's kind of like a Static Shock. Like it was just like when I was growing up, I didn't even realize Static Shock was a comic character.
Yep.
Like I would watch the show every weekend and I'd be like, yeah, this guy's like, this is pretty cool. And then like later on, I see him pop up in like Justice League. I'm like, the fuck's he doing here? Like,
Justice League's just taking anybody now. Goddamn.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to. One of the biggest shows for me, and his show, movie, whatever, is Moon Knight, because again, just like Blue Beetle, it is like an unknown character.
He's like a PG-13 Deadpool.
Yeah, I mean he's essentially just Batman with DID. That aren't aware of that is dissociative identity disorder. Like he's just crazy as fuck.
Yeah, like there's just so much coming out that I mean, we got, there's the second, I think, in Across the Spider-Verse, I think is supposed to come out this year.
Yep, it looks awesome with Spider-Man 2099.
Which, we're gonna have,
funnily enough, is voiced by Oscar Isaac, if I'm not mistaken, who is Moon Knight.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, I'm kind of excited for Aquaman too, dude. I know the first one didn't really stick the way that they wanted it to. I still think it's a good movie, but like they're going to like the traditional Black Manta suit.
Yes, I did see that. Huge fan.
Like I am like it's not all big and clanky. It's like the thin, like black and gray. And then I really, really am hoping that they finally give Ben Affleck his green light to do his Batman and Deathstroke movie.
That would be awesome.
I doubt it's gonna happen. Joe Manganiello has already given up hope, but
Yeah, how's that going to happen? I mean, it seemed like in the Justice League that they were going to, really continue with that Batman. But with the new Batman that's coming out, are they abandoning Ben Affleck's Batman? Is that what's going to happen at this point? They're doing that again?
so the rumor right now is that the new Flash movie is gonna be essentially be like Flashpoint. But what's gonna end up happening is it's gonna unwrite everything the DC's already done. And there's the new Trinity is going to be Batgirl, Wonder Woman, and Supergirl, apparently.
Which is fine. I thought that
So that's probably the end of Henry Cavill, which sucks, and probably the end of Batfleck, which sucks even more.
Yeah, I really thought that they had something going, that they were onto something, that they were going to kind of finally grab what they threw at the wall that stuck, and run with it. But it sounds like they're just going to throw something else at the wall again as well.
So my big issue again. Now I liked them. I like what they had, the stuff that they had going on for the Justice League movie. But I'll tell you what, if we moved forward and they wanted to recast these characters again, I don't know if I could do it. I was just having this talk with someone the other day. There's been, in my lifetime alone, 5, 6 Batmen. Like, I don't need another Batman story. Now, it's just very derivative at this point. Like, I know Superman's backstory. I know Batman's backstory. Give me, now they're giving us the live action Flash. Give me a like legitimate Zack Snyder Green Lantern movie.
Oh,
I would
amazing.
like Ryan Reynolds. I'm sorry. It's no offense to you as a person.
There is a Lantern Corps movie coming out.
But like that, I need that kind of stuff. Give me a good Sinestro, like a decent backstory. Hell, I'll take a fucking Lantern Corps series where give me 10 episodes about each color of the fucking Lantern Corps, or 10 seasons. I will take that, a season per color. But I just need a little bit more. I don't want to continue to do the same 2 characters who we all know and love. This is Batman and Superman.
No, and I completely agree with you there.
So, give me something new, give me something a little different.
So going off of that, I want to ask you, like with the new Flash movie coming out, do you want to see another rendition of Reverse Flash as the villain, or would you rather see a different speedster? Would you rather, like, do you think that that's a good movie to bring in a new character? I know you're a huge Godspeed fan.
Yes. So that was would I love to see Godspeed? Absolutely. Would they have to do it right, unlike the CW show? Yes. So if it is Flashpoint, per the comic, per the animated series, like animated movies and stuff like that, he is the bad guy. And I'm okay with that. Now, if they ended it and gave us like a post-credit scene of maybe like the storm in Central City that happens due to Barry's, ignorance, and that creates your Godspeed, that is fine with me. Like, Zach, Mr. Snyder, call me. I got a lot of ideas. We're going to sit down. I'm going to explain to you the exact post-credit scene that every fan would love. I don't even want to be paid for it. Just credit me. That's it. This is free. I'm doing consultations for free.
We'll just start writing him fan mail, just like on the daily. That way, if he accidentally reads it, they have to credit us.
Well, and
Be like, hey, I sent that to him.
All I'm saying, yeah, and I'll like copy it, and I'll get a received, an email that he received it. And that's if that the cease and desist letter doesn't come first. I'm waiting for mine from Brie Larson, because fuck you. So someone's gonna be like, oh, you should listen to this. Listen to this guy.
Dude, I would laugh if like our claim to fame was just hating on Brie Larson. Like
nothing to do with the podcast whatsoever. Everybody who
Yeah.
listens to this podcast has everything to
She
do
just
with Grant
has-
Morrison. It's like
She just
literally
has some
what-
scorned best friend from high school.
Yes.
These guys are jerks. What's going on here?
Exactly. That's what we're here for. But
Oh, God.
in my universe, Marvel, we got Miss Marvel coming out, Thor: Love and Thunder, Secret Invasion, She-Hulk, Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness,
Morbius.
Morbius. I mean, like, Morbius just got pushed back too.
I know.
No, not again. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, like originally, from the original date, it got pushed back a couple months, which I think is just like post, production type shit that they're trying to figure out.
Yeah, okay.
But I know what,
Well-
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with waiting for a good movie.
You know what it probably was? It was Andrew Garfield straight up Oscared us all out of thinking he wasn't in No Way Home. So they were like, okay, and now like because it has to be his universe, right?
It has to be.
That's the rumor.
Like it has to be his universe. Just process of elimination. It literally couldn't be either of the other two. So unless we're getting a all new Spider-Man, which for
Don't do that
me
to
is
me. Not right
I
now.
feel with Spider-Man like you do with Batman. Like I'm sick of Spider-Man's. Like let's give the Waynes and the Parkers a rest. Like
There's
stop
been enough
ki-
killing.
Yeah. Like let's relax. Let's go to like a
Stop. He's already dead.
like please just give us something. Which I mean, they're kind of branching out with like Shang-Chi and all that, but like, I mean, even the Netflix shows like Luke Cage was a great show the first season.
I liked Jessica Jones. Kilgrave is a seriously sinister character.
Yeah, and they fucking got rid of him. I would have loved to have a live action. Technically, the Man in Purple, I think, is like what they call him in the
Yeah.
comics, but yeah, like that's absurd. That is such an absurd power that like
Oh yeah, I mean it's the power of persuasion, however you want to, whatever you want to call it. But like that is essentially what he does. He like tells you what to do and you do it.
yeah, and like
Fucking Simon Says over here.
the one dude, he has to put his hand in the fucking blender or whatever. He's just
Mhm.
like, oh, you don't want to see me do that? Oh, well, do it.
And that honestly, like that is a deadly power. It's essentially Wanda's, her power, but she's making you do shit with it. Like when she gets inside your head, like this dude, just all you need to do is hear him.
Yeah, and then he's working on like, oh, let's see if it works through microphones and telephones and all this other shit. It's like, holy shit, it works.
And that's why he's dangerous as fuck. I love it. But yeah, what else? I mean, we got a lot of other shit coming out. So Star Wars Visions came out last year, which was the anime Star Wars. I would like to see them continue on with that because it's palatable episodes. They're 15 minutes long. It's quick, it's animation, it's a little something different. And I think each person or each episode is a different animator. It's like different styles each time, which is kind of cool. I like the concept.
Branching outside of like the DC and Marvel, when is the next season of Umbrella Academy?
That is a great question. I have Netflix on in the house and let me check.
Or are they Marvel?
You right?
No, I don't believe so.
2022. Let's
Yeah.
see.
Oh, okay. So yesterday is when they posted the characters, and 2 days ago they posted teaser stuff for the Sparrow Academy members. Which, if you watched Umbrella Academy season 2, you got to see at the end there where basically they went back in time and rewrote history.
Mm-hmm.
So on the Umbrella Academy Twitter, they have their number 1, their number 2, who is Ben, which we know. Number 3, 4, who looks just significantly older. I don't know if that's like part of his power.
Yeah, number 7's like not even like a thing, right?
No. Number 7 is a literal
Yeah.
square blob.
Box.
I don't
That's
know.
what I mean.
What the fuck is that picture? Yeah. So if you guys get an opportunity, go check out the Sparrow Cat. I guess it's the Sparrow Academy now on. Hey, I have no idea what the fuck that is. I'm gonna be like 100% honest with you. I'm staring at this picture now, and I am morbidly confused.
No, it looks like a box there, but
It looks like a flesh box.
not to get confused with your adult stores.
Yeah, no, that's not something you can buy on Amazon for when you're lonely at home. But yeah, I'm excited to see where they go with this. They got the evil Ben now, which is super exciting. But yeah, I am totally here for it. I just heard, and this is sad news, Invincible has not actually done anything as far as season 2 goes. So
I've been
they haven't even
hearing, like,
started it.
I've been hearing they're having trouble getting funding for it. But The Boys,
Shocking. It's shocking they're having trouble because it was such a fucking hit series.
dude, it was so good. That and The Boys.
Maybe they just can't pay J. Jonah Jameson to keep coming back.
Well, we're getting Jensen Ackles as pretty much Captain America in The Boys.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he has just been a breakout star as far as comic book stuff goes.
Dude, supernatural, man.
I-
You get a cult following, you get calls.
So I would like to see him, again, come into the MCU. I'm cool with that. Or play a live action Red Hood in a movie. I'm okay with that too.
Well, it's
but
actually
yeah,
funny. I seen there's a side by side picture of him and Jared Padalecki, who plays Sam from there, and Sam's
Okay.
dressed up as Nightwing, and he's like photoshopped as the Red Hood.
that's awesome. See, I can see it.
And I
I'd be
mean,
okay with
he
that.
he actually does have like a full on like suit.
I mean, shit, I would too. Are you kidding me?
I think he wore it for like Halloween one year or some shit.
But we got a lot coming out, whether it's Marvel, whether it's DC, the Star Wars stuff that we have moving forward with Ahsoka, that'll be coming out in 2022. We
Hey,
have
dude.
the third iteration of the Spider-Man video game. It's dropping for PS5. So we got a lot going on. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's out there, and it's going to satiate you for a while. There's enough content that's going to last us obviously through the entire year, but there's just so much shit coming out. We have a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Like,
I'm oddly intrigued about that.
Yeah.
Because like, what kind of holidays do they celebrate in space?
well, based just solely on Peter Quill being like stuck in the 80s, literally, I think he's going to force them to do some kind of Christmas.
He's gonna offend Groot somehow by getting a Christmas tree. Just saying.
Maybe Groot is his Christmas tree, and that's why he's offended.
Boy, if I was Groot, that'd be I'd be so mad.
You can show what Groot's gonna be all
I'd-
grown up now, huh?
I'd be like, I'm so powerful, and you're gonna decorate me.
Oh, and we also have Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
You had some good movies coming out.
I am super excited about that strictly because the family of Chadwick Boseman has spoken out and said like he would want the Black Panther character recast. Now they're not saying get another T'Challa. They're saying that someone else can be Black Panther.
Right, just hand over the mantle. Like,
Because I respect the fact that like, yes, he played such an integral role. We are all about supporting this man. Like I have said a million times on the show, like that man absolutely killed it in that
Oh my
role.
gosh.
I loved him as T'Challa, but I think, whether it's his sister steps up or if we do like an AU Killmonger in the Black Panther role, like I'm okay with all this. Let's
Well,
do it.
You don't
I mean,
know.
they could bring him back.
What if?
Bring in What If into the multiverse. We'll see what happens with the Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
So yeah, obviously we're gonna do breakdowns on every single thing that's coming out in 2022. But for now, we just wanted to sort of give you guys a little not so
Secret
in-depth
Invasion
insight.
too.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were absolutely correct. Oh, and I mean we're gonna have Armor Wars, Ironheart. There's a bunch of stuff that is potentially coming out this year, but could come out in 2023. A lot of the stuff is if it's getting
Obi-Wan
postponed.
Kenobi.
it's getting postponed because of COVID. So, I'm sure.
Damn you, COVID.
Yeah, everyone at home, please be
Be
safe.
safe.
Yes. 2 out of the 3 of us have had COVID. I'm not looking at anybody in particular.
Oh, really? Because there's only 2 out of the 3 of us, and you're the one. You're the one saying like I'm not looking. Yeah.
But yeah, we
Your time too will come, sir. Hopefully not.
I hope not. But yeah, so guys, look forward to everything coming out in 2022. I know we are. So as always, you can reach out to us at somethingsuperpodcast@gmail.com, on our Instagram at Something Super Podcast, on Facebook at Something Super Podcast, or hit us up on Twitter at SS Podcast 52. Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what you want us to cover. If there's anything specific that we haven't covered, give us your thoughts, opinions, hell, tips and tricks on different reading things that we should check out. Like, I love the comic book stash that I have downstairs, but I'd love to expand it further. I need to pick up some Godspeed comics. That's next on my list of things. John, you should take some with you if you'd like. We want to do some more breakdowns. We want to get real in depth with some stuff. We had our little break, and we're coming back 2022. We're going to kick some ass and take some names. So, guys, got anything else for me before we head out?
No, I'm just glad that we got to go through this recap. This past year was rough on a lot of people, but I think Marvel and DC really helped out, and during the COVID times to really keep us all entertained when we were in quarantine. So I want to give a personal thank you to Marvel and DC, and those smaller superhero movies and TV shows as well. Thank you for just keeping us all entertained. These have been some hard times for some people. We have lost, unfortunately, some people due to Corona, and I can probably definitely say for maybe others as well that you have probably brought a silver lining to a lot of people's lives. So thank you for the recap, and thank you for what is gonna be coming.
Absolutely. All right, guys. We'll catch you guys next week. I'm Steve.
I'm Mark.
I'm John.